Restaurant aggregation and meal delivery platform Zomato, it generates revenue via meal delivery, advertising, and subscription. The Zomato revenue recognition policy are as follows. The meal delivery service calculates its revenue when the order is delivered and the client pays. And advertisement income is recognized when it's published or broadcast. The income from subscription contract is recognized methodically over subscription period. When a consumer signs up for a service, revenue is recognized. Consumer refunds lower income for the period they were issued. Zomato also recognizes earnings from some transactions gradually. Income from long-term contracts is acknowledged during the duration of contract, whereas income from bundled items or services is reported throughout clients' projected use. Zomato recognizes revenue using accrual accounting. Income is recognized when earned, even if payment is delayed. This policy was based on Indian Accounting Standard 115, revenue from contracts with customers. Before measuring revenue, Zomato evaluates several important aspects, including transaction conclusion. Zomato transacts income once the client pays for meals or advertising and company completes its responsibilities. After Zomato delivers the product or services, the consumer takes ownership and Zomato may record the transaction as income. Zomato recognizes income when it can collect payment from a consumer regardless of whether they pay promptly. This is true even if the money arrives later. Zomato recognizes income when the transaction's economic advantages were realized, such as through meals consumption or advertising. Zomato recognizes the trade's economic advantages here. Zomato's business approach may affect its revenue policy. The company adheres to solid accounting standards and practices to deliver accurate and transparent financial reporting to shareholders and other stakeholders.
Nykaa is a prominent Indian e-commerce company headquartered in Mumbai, known for selling beauty and fashion products through its website, mobile app, and physical stores. In 2020, it achieved the distinction of being India's first woman-led unicorn startup. Their revenue recognition policy is built upon several key principles. Substantial risk and benefit. Nykaa recognizes profits when buyers assume significant risks and benefits linked to product ownership, usually upon consumer receipt. Discount income. Income from discounts is acknowledged according to terms negotiated with vendors and suppliers for promotional purposes. Listing services. Commissions from authorized and processed orders on the site are recognized as income. Accrual method. The accrual method is utilized for computing other revenue. Nykaa's revenue recognition policy varies for its major segments. Beauty. Revenue is recorded upon consumer receipt of beauty products. Fashion. Revenue is noted when fashion items are dispatched to consumers. Home and lifestyle. Revenue is recognized upon dispatch of home and lifestyle products. Logistics. Revenue from logistics services is acknowledged post-service completion. Advertising. Income from advertising services is realized when advertisements are finalized and go live online. Through Nykaa's revenue recognition is in line with industry standards. Recent profitability decline can be attributed to heightened competition, increased expenditures, and a one-time IPO related loss. In essence, Nykaa's revenue strategy aligns with industry norms, but profitability has dipped due to several factors. This overview encapsulates Nykaa's revenue recognition policy and its impact on the company's financial performance.
My name is Riddhi K. Fofilia and I am going to speak about the revenue recognition policy of Paytm. So Paytm is an e-commerce and a digital payments platform which started in 2010. It began with its basic services of recharges and bill payments and now further expanded to financial services, digital payments and online shopping services. Okay, so now let's explain the revenue recognition policy of Paytm. So Paytm follows the IFRS standards for revenue recognition. It recognizes revenue when the control of goods and services is transferred to customers. Revenue is only recognized when there is no probability of significant reversal from the customer's end. So now when the company acts as an agent for payment of goods and services, it has to fulfill two criteria. The previously mentioned criteria of revenue should also be fulfilled. Also, additionally, the company has the right to receive payment on or before the delivery of goods and services. So, if the company receives payment before the delivery of goods and services, they consider that income as contract liability. So, the previously mentioned two sources added the revenue to the company, whereas incentives that is given to the users in forms of cashbacks, not in exchange for any goods and services, are factors that we reduce from the revenue. The cashbacks given is generally deducted from the revenue.
My name is Ritika Jain and I will be talking about the revenue recognition policy of Delivery. Delivery is an Indian logistic and supply chain company founded in 2011 and is based in Gurgaon. The company has around 85 fulfillment centers and provides various services like delivery, express mail, third-party logistics, supply chain management, truckload shipping, partial truckload shipping and freight forwarding. About two-thirds of its revenue comes from providing third-party logistics and delivery services to e-commerce companies. The revenue recognition of contracts with customers is dependent upon the transfer of control of goods and services to the customers. At an amount reflective of the anticipated consideration the company is entitled to receive, the company's predominant role as the principal in revenue arrangement is established due to its typical control over goods or services prior to their customer transfer. The major chunk of company's revenue come from broadly four categories: the revenue from express parcel services, revenue from part truckload services, revenue from truckload services, and revenue from cross-border services. The revenue from these services possess a relatively short service period, typically spanning a few days or week. Consequently, services arising from these services is acknowledged throughout the service period, coinciding with the principal goods delivery obligation.
My name is Kanal Bukuria. I will tell you about revenue recognition policy of Policy Bazaar. First, substantial performance. The company performance obligations are considered to be substantial fulfilled when the customers has obtained control of the goods or services. This means that the customer has the ability to use or consume the goods or services, and the company has no significant remaining obligations related to the sales. Second, control. The customer is considered to be have obtained control of the goods or services when it has the ability to direct the use of goods and services, and to obtain substantial all of the benefits and bear the substantial all of the risk associated with the goods or services. Third, rate based revenue recognition. Revenue is recognized rate by over the life of the insurance policy based on the estimate net premium receivables. This means that the company recognizes a portion of a premium as revenue each month based on the estimated amount of premiums that it expects to collect over the life of the policy. Fourth, deferred revenue. The company recognizes a deferred revenue liability for the portion of the premium that is not yet earned. This liability is then reduced as the company recognizes revenue over the life of the policy.